I think that colorism also is a problem because it also stops people from uniting together. Like you'd be so much more powerful if we all got together and just put that shit aside. But
Yeah. I lay on the scare, you gotta glow, you gotta glow. She had my attention, she gotta know.
I'd like to welcome everyone to another episode of the Let's Get Podcast. I'm your host Zeke, and in this episode, Wandaly and I will continue our conversation and talk about colorism. You can listen to this podcast on all major platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, by clicking the link in the description below or going to allmylinks.com/Let's Get Apart. Please rate it 5 stars. I'll leave a content warning for the intro and let me do this episode, and hope you have a nice day and enjoy the show.
I don't even think it's not even coronavirus the only problem. There's just so many other problems.
Global warming.
Then the thing is, you see how there's all these other countries who they have coronavirus, but they've kind of been able to keep it on the wrap and do better and things like that. But obviously, our country has a culture of being individualistic, right? So people tend to be really self-centered. It's really me, and they don't tend to not look up for the community or looking for other people and care about everybody as a community, and that really does backfire because people are just thinking about themselves. Like the whole mask thing, I don't want to wear it because I get hot and I feel uncomfortable. It's not just about you, it's about also the people around you. So I think that backfires because the whole the being a capitalist society and everybody just fending for their own and things like that is difficult. There's people who are, yes, they are born with the whole silver spoon thing, so they have that luxuries. And then there's people who have minorities who just they've always been left out of all these things. And it's hard. Obviously, there's all these generational gaps that is hard.
All of my life I had to fight.
Obviously, I was not born here. I was born in the Dominican Republic. So I'm coming from a place that literally at that moment when I was living there, the piece that I'm from, had no running water. To this day, only the people who have some money in my neighborhood have running water. They're still drinking rainwater, right? So obviously I came here and it's okay, obviously I want to do better, be better stuff, but there's a lot of things that still stop you from being as successful as you would be if you were somebody who had money. The whole internships that don't pay you, everybody cannot take the luxury of taking an internship that can't pay you.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who got money, you don't care. Your parents are going to pay for everything, so it doesn't matter. You can take that internship that's not going to pay you. But when you're somebody who, I want to make some money on the side because I want to pay for my metric card. I want to be able to pay for my coffee if I want after school. So you're going to want to get an internship that's going to pay you some money. Maybe you don't care about being paid hourly. Maybe, if it's a little bit of money, but you want something. Because you don't have that luxury of being out and doing all these things and spending money. Because a lot of times when you're doing this internship, it does come at an extra expense because you might have to buy lunch while you're out there. And you have to pay for transportation to get there. So everybody doesn't have the luxury to take these unpaid internships. So that be backfiring on so many people. They'd be just take whatever you get. Yeah, not everybody can actually, do that. And it's just true.
Yeah.
And even the fact of that there's certain minorities who have been pretty much deemed the minorities who you're supposed to look up to and be like.
The model minority.
What? They're still minority, but they're the model minority. It's so retarded. The way that the system is framed is so retarded. That's so retarded. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just be sitting there make it make sense. Make it make sense. There's so many issues. And then the thing is I can sit here and bash America so much, but at the end of the day, if I was back in the Dominican Republic, I probably wouldn't even be able to go to college. Simple as that. I'd probably be freaking married, living with a guy or something. It would be so different if I was back in DR where I'm from, where my mom only went up to 8th grade. So yes, there's a lot of faults, there's a lot of problems here, but at the end of the day, it does give me some opportunities that I would not have was I still in the Dominican Republic, where I was still in the country, the countryside, because I'm from the countryside, that piece where I was from, I doesn't have those capabilities. Like my grandfather worked in agriculture. That doesn't make money. You're pretty much just planting food for you to eat this week, essentially. So it's complicated because I know there's so many flaws here and so many stuff, but it doesn't have the same flaws that my country does right now. Like my country's much worse. It's hard to point fingers. Like, okay, we're not doing so hard ourselves. So if I come here and point fingers, it's like, okay, we're not even that much better. Especially because DR has a problem with Haiti. That whole issue on that island is a big, big mess.
Well, since I don't have a country of origin because my people is wrong over here, enslaved, I can't make fun of the country. This country sucks.
Definitely can't. It's like, I don't know. It be backfiring because I don't know if you had seen that, like there's this video going around of like these people in the Dominican Republic who were like messing around with this like young Haitian kid, and they were just like, they didn't like physically like beat him up, but they were like messing around with him. So they would place him in like the trunk of the car, and he would like try to run out, and they were just like laughing and like pushing him around and things like that. They didn't like beat him up, but they were still like messing around with him and bothering him and stuff like that. And it's obviously things like that that's just not right. And there is a lot of problem with racism and colorism itself, point blank period, throughout the whole entire Caribbean. There's a huge problem with colorism, and like people bleach their skin and all that stuff. And I do think that it's much more apparent in the Dominican Republic just because we're next to Haiti. Because a lot of the other Spanish-speaking countries, they do have those problems as well. Like if you go to Colombia, if you go to Mexico, if you're darker, you're definitely set aside. And it sucks. It sucks. If you're darker, they're like, what is that? Essentially, it's like, oh, it's a what is that? And it's, I don't know. I don't understand why he's like that.
Colonialism, and for whatever reason, it's always a light versus dark issue. Almost every country.
Yeah.
Throughout history.
It's like every single country. Really rare for you to find a country that's not a problem is every single country. Because even if you go to like India, they're so big on whitening, freaking whitening creams and all that stuff. Like it's ridiculous. And I know DR is like famous because of Sammy Sosa cream. He did the most. I don't even know how he did that. How he lightened himself so much. I swear he bleached himself. That doesn't even make sense.
I didn't even know who he was. And I was playing a game with Lasso, and it was like trying to guess the image behind you. And he was like, my friend was like, he used to be dark, and now he's light. I was like, who are you talking about?
He did the most. Like, I don't even know how he did that. Like I don't understand how he changed his skin color that fast, that crazy. Like it doesn't even make sense to me. That just shows the colorism issues that are spread out, and it's just not in DR. Like it's all throughout the Caribbean, all throughout any country that was colonized. Every single one of them.
Europe was like, we're number one, and everybody was like, yeah, maybe.
They were like, wait a minute.
They are beating us and everything.
Like, actually, you do seem to be superior, so maybe you're right. Maybe, yeah, I could be like you. It's ridiculous because in a lot of ways, DR too, like they have idolized like Christopher Columbus, and there's statues of him and all this other stuff. And to this day, a lot of people don't see that what he did was wrong. And even then, like everybody knows like the famous dictatorship of Trujillo and all his issues. Like, you know, a lot like Hitler, you know, like the whole Aryan race and trying to lighten things up and all that problem, like, and it's retarded because he, in a lot of ways, he did do a lot of good for the country, but he also psychologically messed up so many people, and there's so much blood on that man's hand. Like he killed so many people that it's just ridiculous.
And now people are asking about Spanish now. I'm just like, huh? The census sent me a text in Spanish. I was like, what? Okay. New identity, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard that like there was a problem with like so in Black History Month, how they didn't put the Dominican flag up, and like there was this huge issue that was happening. Like were you there? Like in Marook, you heard about it?
It probably did happen. The thing is, with that, I don't know because there's people on both sides who say the same thing. There's people who were like, "You're black," and then people were like, "You're not black," and then then the Dominicans were like, "I'm black," and the Dominicans like, "I'm not black." I'm just like, somebody figured it out.
It's like in general, there's like a huge identity crisis because it's like if I go up to somebody and I'm black, they're gonna look at me and be like,
Where?
You're actually not black, right? And I'm gonna be like, yes, I am. Like, just look at my history. Like, look at the history of the Dominican Republic. Like, I am black. We're really next to Haiti, so there's no way that we're not black. Like, we're one same island. Like, there's no way. We just happen to speak Spanish because of who we were colonized by, but we're black. But then a lot of people take it into offense, like I'm trying to like make fun of the culture or whatever. Like it is, that's not what I'm trying to do. So
a lot of times, people like, because for me, I'm Black American, so I have cousins who are like from darker than me to my shade to brown to light. So I have all the shades.
Mm-hmm.
So I can somebody be like, I'm black, but hey, cool, because I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a lot of people, the thing is, then becomes like the white passing Latinos or Hispanics. Then then the black people like don't feel like the whole situation because you can pass for white and get looked over, stuff like that. And that becomes an issue.
It's hard because I have people in my family who are super light with like light eyes and like really pasty hair, like really light hair, and you think like they're white and they're not, like they're Dominican. So if they come and they say they're black, you'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? And a lot of ways for me, it's like if I say I'm black, some people will accept it because like, you know, because of my hair texture, I'm not that light. But a lot of people don't like that. They don't like that. So it's hard because some people will accept it and some people don't. So it'll always be a problem. Like no, but like you're actually Hispanic. Like you're not black. And I'm like, but I can be both. I can be both. That's why they like coined the phrase Afro Latina. Mm-hmm. And there's just some people who is like, it's visually easier to see them. And although they're speaking Spanish, like, oh yeah, they're black because they're actually dark. But when you're light, it's like, what are you talking about? Because you're light. Like, so it's not the same thing. It's weird. Because I do know, like, if obviously you're light, you do have certain luxuries other people don't. Like, I'm not going to have the same interaction with someone who's, 5-6 shades darker than me. It's the same thing.
And then, like, I just lost that thought. Man, that was a good thought. What you call it? Even then, like, wow, I lost it. There's something about that colorism that's like, so yeah, colorism sucks, but what else is that?
I think that colorism also is a problem because it also stops people from uniting together. Like, you'd be so much more powerful if we all got together and just put that shit aside. But colorism stops everybody from uniting together in a lot of ways. And it's I don't know if you've heard, I forgot this lady's name, but like she's like talking about how like, oh, we're one race for the human race.
The white lady, and the white lady with glasses, right? She's short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just can't think of her name, but yeah.
In a lot of ways, that's so true. Like we're so asphyxiated on putting people into boxes and labeling people and like trying to make it easier for you to understand, like Asian, Hispanic, like checking off these boxes so it's like easier to categorize people, put them in a box. But that also creates a lot of problems, a lot of identity crisis, a lot of issues. Like there's a lot of people who are mixed race, for example, and it's like they have like identity problems because they don't know what race to identify more with or what ethnicity to lean towards or what to pick or what to do. So it creates a lot of problems just because we don't want to put everybody in a box.
Yeah, and even for like black, That definition is even hard because you have me like somebody who's American black who doesn't really have a lineage like they have lineage to like other countries but like doesn't have that connection. Then you have people from the Caribbean, and you have people from Africa, but then you have people who, like black people who wasn't born in like other countries like England and stuff like that. So it's like how do you even kind of go as that?
That's the thing. Like, I think that we should avoid trying to categorize everything because that creates more problems. Like when you try to check everybody in a box, like that's so difficult. Like there's millions of people, billions of people. Why are you trying to put everybody in a box? Like that's not fair. It doesn't work for everybody. Everybody's different. Just like I was saying, the Dominican Republic itself is difficult as hell because everybody looks different. Everybody speaks Spanish, but in general, our culture is much more related to Africa and black. Like the plantains, the rice, the oxtail, like everything. If you look at it, it is, and it's rooted in black culture, and you don't really see it in the European culture.
That's why I was like, growing up black and growing up Latino is pretty much the same difference. It's not like a 1-to-1, but it's pretty much the same. Like not the same. Like the foods are almost the same. The culture, music, same roots. The parents are almost low key abusive.
There's a lot of similarities. The main difference is that we speak Spanish, but there's so many similarities. I think especially with the Spanish-speaking countries in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, there's a lot more similarities there. Like Cuba was a hot spot for transportation when they were importing slaves. They would stop at Havana, fuel up, and then continue coming to America. Same with Puerto Rico, same with hot. They were stopping there to fuel up and then continue on to America. So there's obviously a lot of people there who are really dark, and everybody's really mixed between Tainos, Europeans, and black. Like everybody's really, really mixed. Some people it's more obvious than other people, but everybody's mixed. You know the music Los Palos? Los Palos? It's like the Dominican music, and if you hear it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that shit like came from like the Congo because that's really is what it is. It's like just pretty much drums, the beat of the drums, and it has a lot to do with like spiritual and religious like rituals, and it's like calling of spirits and things like that. Like where else does that come from? It's obviously African. Like where else does that come from? Like what else do that black people do that? That's where that comes from. So it's like it's just much. It's there. It's like in your face the similarities, and some people don't want to accept it, and it's really sad. Like it's right there. Like it's so obvious. Like if you see my grandfather, he's like way, 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 way darker than me, and then you see my grandma, and she's lighter than me. And it's like, what the hell? Like it's just mixed. Everybody's a whole bunch of different colors. My sister's a little darker than me, but then she got pin straight hair, and I'm the one with the curly hair. So it's like all mixed and all different.
So I remember my friend asked me, it was like, if somebody was like Spanish, but like, or Latino or Hispanic, but like their lineage was only Spain and indigenous, would I still consider them black? I would say, yeah, because it's a culture.
I do think though, I've been trying to think, like, is there really any country that didn't have any slaves in it? I just find it to be impossible that there wasn't some black people in that country.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, how was there no black people there? Like, there might not be a huge group, and it might not be as obvious in their culture and things that they do, but there's some people in there that are black. There's something in there, because there's just no way, like, because of the slave trade, there's just no way. Like, people were brought everywhere. Like, Brazil, have you seen Brazil? Like, there's so many people there of African descent. There's so many black people in Brazil. And then the people that you see on TV are all, like, the light-skinned people. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah. Well, this is hilarious.
It's sad. It's sad. because it's happening in every single country. Like every single country, the colorism stuff that a lot of people, the denying of their roots. That I don't see what's the problem. Why is it bad for you to be black? Like I don't understand that. I'm still trying to understand that. Like I don't understand why people see that as bad. Where is it a problem? Like I don't understand. Like I don't understand how people see that as bad.
And even
It doesn't.
then, sometimes the Caribbean or like Africa, like they'll come, but they're saying they're not black. They'll say like their country of origin. There's like this distinct, there's like this with the word black. There's something wrong with that even in itself.
Because you say like your race and then your ethnicity. So kind of like it kind of goes stemming down. So it's like I'm black and I'm Dominican. To be more specific, I'm not. Because they're like, okay, you're black. Like okay. More specifically, I'm Dominican. So it's like if you say you're black, then you're like, okay, but from where? Like, what does that mean?
Word. I'm just like, guys, my family was slaves, all right? There's nothing I can do.
That's the thing. Like, people want to get like more specific, like exactly where you're from.
Where your parents from?
That's why I say I'm Dominican because I never said I wasn't black. I'm just saying that I'm Dominican. And that's the country where I was born, and that's where I was born. Do you dislike that you have to say like? Do you dislike that you have to be like, oh, I'm just American? Like, do you dislike the fact that you can't pinpoint where exactly your family was from? You have to say that you're American.
I don't think I never disliked it. Like I always thought about it because seventh grade I had to write a immigration paper about how my family immigrated to the United States, and I was like, impossible. I was like, hey, teacher. See, nobody in my family immigrated.
It wasn't an option.
It was like we was on that boat ride that we don't talk about. But like, I don't think it ever became an issue to something. Like, then in high school, that's when I learned like the conversation of like where you really from, because people ask me, so where you from? America. Like, of course, like that's how I was born. But then they were like, no, where your parents from? America. Grandparents from America. Great grandparents, America. So then just like, that's like the only annoying part. It's just like I'm a black American.
I don't know. I find it interesting. Is like it's like don't like not actually knowing like where my roots from? Like where did I actually like my great grandparents? Where did they come from? Like think about what my life would have been. Things like that.
It's like my family's from South Carolina, mainly. So you know what side they were on the Civil War.
I'm dead. Like I see how things were.
And my great grandma, she actually used to pick cotton. She wasn't like a slave or anything, but like she used to pick cotton for money. So like there's like that history.
That's the thing I was talking about earlier about like the generational gap. Like it's something that it's a reoccurring issue. Like all the gap put them up.
She died in 2018, in 2017. So that's still recent.
That was a long ago. It's because like you be thinking like all this history is mad far, but it's really not. Like these are stuff that like your great grandparents lived through, which is not that long ago when you put into perspective.
Like not knowing where I was, I just kind of accepted like when people like bring something from your culture, I usually like bring something like the word everything, because since I'm American and we kind of we have pieces of all the different cultures because everybody's here. You have to say everything. Because I listen to Spanish music, I eat Spanish food.
That's so weird. Like, as a kid, like culture day, you're like, I'm American.
Like I can't.
That is so weird. So me, it was like, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring some mango, and that's
and that's salad.
I'm like, that is so obvious. I'm Dominican. I just bring some mango, and that is obvious that I'm Dominican.
I bought some salad in elementary. I was like, nice.
I was about some hot dogs. Like, I'm American. Here's some hot dogs.
Like, here's some baseball.
That's so weird.
And also, like, I watch Japanese anime, so like I'm pulling from different cultures.
Makes sense.
Yeah, like I was in Acetone, was in Lasso. I was learning about different cultures.
You were in everything. Like you was everywhere. You were everywhere.
I was in FemCode. I was a female technology club. That was fun.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. I was like, hmm. Yeah, okay, he's in fem code. Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's like this time do the math was like, why? I mean, I was a tech major at the time, so
I'm like, wasn't that the whole purpose of the club? Like girls who code. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
he was like, yes. Everybody would like think about the research like, why did he join that club? Mad comments on the podcast. So why did you join FemCode?
No, they're gonna be like, what were you thinking? Like,
I
what was
was
going through
scared
your head?
to join. Like, but like they had a general issues meeting, and like before I would open the door to walk in, I was mad, feeling like, man, what people gonna say? But I still did it.
It is what it is. You did it. You made it through. You were fine. Friends. You probably ate some free pizza. So it was all worth it.
I was there for the meeting for the when you became my official club. I was like, hey, my name is Jish.
Fun time.
Yeah, this world is fun, and then like being a Black American, it's hilarious.
I mean, at least you don't hate it. Some people like resent that, like, oh, I don't know, like my roots, where I came from. Like, I hate America. I'm not proud to say I'm American because it wasn't a choice.
I mean, even if I did know my roots and I was born in America, that wasn't a choice to be born here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing I can do. Being American will always still be part of my identity.
Because my sister, like, she was born in America and she hates it. Like, you'd be like, yo, you're American. She'd be like, I'm Dominican. I'm Dominican. You were born here. You're American. Like, if you look at your birth certificate, it says America. Like, you're born here. And she's like, not having it. She does not want to be associated with America.
She's like, they trash.
Like, on her 18th birthday, she was like, I know what I want. And we're like, what do you want? I want my dual citizenship for the Dominican Republic. I'm like, she doesn't let it go. Like, she doesn't let it go. Like, she refuses to be American. Like, what do you want? I'm like, you don't win anything by saying you're a Dominican citizen. It doesn't give you any luxuries.
That's even more issues right there.
I was like, it doesn't help you. But no, she doesn't like being American. So what can we do?
But even if I go to like Africa, like Jamaica or something like that, there's a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
When I go there, I'm not gonna like. I might feel some connection, but I'm not gonna like just jump in. I'm like, oh my god, my peoples. I'll be like, all right, so what's your custom? What y'all been doing?
There's a huge disconnect because obviously that's not something you've been around or something you've grown up seeing or hearing or anything along those lines. Like, you've been living the American culture. Like, that's what you know. Even if you wanted to, even if you like read about it, so it's not the same as actually living it and being there and experiencing it.
And like I have parent, my mom, she's American, so she's gonna teach me how the American ways. There's also thought about like I'm in my country of origin. I was thinking about like how you're from DR,
Mm-hmm.
but like if you was in DR, you wouldn't say American, you would say you're Dominican.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much the same thing. So then if I was like immigrate somewhere else and then my kids would go there, they could say they're like American. They can say they're descendants of America. If you think about it.
Yeah. But it's not the reason why it's so different is because your family, your great grandparents were forced to come here. It wasn't a choice. So that's what makes it different. Why people might hate it and things like that. Because if it's like you voluntarily go into another country and you move there, that's a different story. But when you're forced to go there and there was no choice and there was a lot of suffering and there's still suffering being caused for that forced movement, is different. Like, it's just completely different.
Nothing I can do about it.
Have you tried to run a test? You know, like
That's
those like
money.
look at your family tree, see if you could find out. Because you could probably find out.
I mean, I probably could.
You should
That's,
try.
that's mad money.
You should try it. You should
I,
invest.
I'll have more C checks.
I think it would be fulfilling. Like I think it would be interesting. I've always wanted to do one. I'm scared though if I like do it and it's like 2% black. I'm gonna be like, that's it. What do you mean? All
I
this.
can rhythm. I know how to dance.
I mean, like, I ate all these plátanos for nothing. Yeah.
I'm athletic. I'm smart.
You'd be like, what's wrong with me? Eating oxtails for no reason.
Go home just like, my whole life been a lie. They was right. I wasn't black.
I'll be depressing. So, and that aspect, I am scared, but I think it'll be super interesting. And I think you should do it. I think it'll really be worth the money.
Like you're 102% black. Knew it.
No, but there's gonna be more specific. They're gonna say like from where.
Like Ethiopia. All right. I'll look up Ethiopia. Exactly what I've been doing my whole life. Bet. Some rice and some chicken. Man, I've been doing that my whole life.
No, but there's a lot of differences, and the thing is that like in a lot of different countries in Africa, there's a lot of different tribes. So maybe you're from maybe your family is from a small tribe, and there's a lot of different customs. So it would be like really, really interesting if you were to figure that out. You should do it and do a podcast about it.
I'll be like, yo. I'll be like, oh, word. I'm from my village. I'm gonna fight for my lineage. I'm about to be the king. Like I saw Wakanda, but like, yo, I challenge you for the throne.
Oh, whatever. I think you should really try it. Save up some money. Put it on a credit card. I don't know.
Say, like, what you send me up for? Find out my history. You know?
Worth it.
Then I can learn about all the cultures and then take all their cultures.
Oh my God.
Nah, because like people actually believe I was Dominican in Baruch. Was that a word? Say less.
He's like, I'm in there. I can
Well,
look at him now.
I mean, people stopping me if I speak Spanish now, so I'm just like, something is attracting to me. Like, hey, I see something similar to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Dominican Day Parade, and nobody asked questions.
Because Dominicans look like everywhere.
Like,
There's not one look. Like, there's Dominicans that look every shade, every color, every size. There's tall, short, fat, skin. Like, it doesn't matter.
they're like, you don't look Dominican. What look like a Platino?
Like, you look Dominican. Like, if you say you're Dominican, you're Dominican. Like, it don't even matter because it's people with different colors.
Got the hair. Got
Even
my,
though people do assume the Dominicans in general are like on the darker side. And the Puerto Ricans are like the lighter ones. I got it all the time. People be like, you're Puerto Rican, right? And I'm like, what? Oh, because you're light. I'm like,
granted, that's when I first started to not asking people what they like, assuming what people were, and just let them tell me, because they'd be like light skinned Puerto Ricans, like almost white, and I was like, oh, they're Puerto Rican. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna guess anymore. Just tell me what you are.
the guessing game is way too dangerous. Like, because you could offend somebody, so let's just ask, like, okay. If you don't know somebody's name, ask them what their name is. If you want to know somebody's age, just ask them what their age is. Like, where they're from, ask them. Because the assuming game is just that's mad dangerous, and it's not worth it.
I'm like, oh, you're black. They're like, nah, I'm Dominican. I'm just like, whatever.
I mean,
Same difference.
you are black, so.
I went to the Dominican conference, and it was like, where are you? I was like, I'm black. But they're like, we're black. I was like, right. American black.
Yeah, I'm one of those. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm not trying to spend $300 trying to figure out my lineage. I'll let God tell me that when I'm dead. Like, yo, what was that again? All right, cool.
No, you should really do it. I think it would be interesting.
Like your Panamanian word, say less. And word, and y'all trying to figure out where you place Panama in Brazil. Because Brazil doesn't speak Spanish, but they're literally in South America where everybody else speaks Spanish.
Because they were colonized by the Portuguese, so Brazil speaks Portuguese. And then all the other countries speak Spanish.
That's why I learned the difference between
Except for
Hispanic.
Guyana. Guyana doesn't speak Spanish.
What country?
Guyana.
Oh, yeah.
And they're right there. They don't speak Spanish. So there's some exceptions. Like, it all depends who colonized who. And Panama has a large population of people who are Black because of the building the Panama Canal. So you know how that goes.
Yeah. This is fun. Just speculating where we at.
This progressed fast. Like,
You talk about colors, it's like, hey, so yeah, colorism is trash.
and you know what? I'm Black and it's fine.
I'm Black and I'm proud.
And nobody can tell me nothing. Even though I take the test and it says 2%, I'm still
That's
Black.
too. They said the one drop rule in America. You got one drop, you're Black.
Yeah.
I don't think that have ever been amended. Lost my train of thought again. But even then, I also never had time to think about like where I was from because I was trying to pass. I was trying to graduate school, so that was never a top priority.
Makes sense. I don't know how you weren't questioning. I would have been questioning all my life. I would have been like mad curious. Because I already questioned, like, I know I'm Dominican, but I still will question like what percent Taino, what percent Black. Like I always question like where Black from where, like what does that mean?
They're like, Mother, where we? Because before like we had to fill out your race. They were like African American. My mom would cross it out, and they put Black, and they put check other and put Black. I'm like, you're doing a lot of work right now. But then I'm just like, so that's why I identified Black. My mom was like, you're Black. I was like, makes sense. Because like, if you drop us, like I said before, you drop us in Africa, we're going to be like,
yeah. So if you say African, from where? And then you're going to know. You're from somewhere, though. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So you'll figure it out eventually. I'm telling you the test. Do the test. It's worth it.
And also, like, I hung out with Black and Latinos my whole life, so, ain't nothing new. Like, my high school was predominantly Black. I was African and Caribbean. Middle school was predominantly Latino. Elementary was Black and Latino. And then college, predominantly Asian.
Super bad, though. I think that because you joined Zeke, it was different.
Oh yeah, that was my year was predominantly Dominican and Latino. There was like 12 Black people. I was like, you can count us on your hands.
Dominicans are Black, remember that?
Yes, in the category of Black. Black Americans, it's like 12 of us. On that depressing note, talking to friends, haven't done that in a while.
Very true.
I miss the squad. So yeah, future plans are just wait it out. I mean, if you can make it through Corona, you can make it through anything.
Let's see if we can make it through the economic recession. Let's see that one.
Man, this is your second one. You'll be good.
Barely made it, not the first one. Because my dad lost the goddamn house, so we'll see.
See, I have always lived in the projects. So I've been in the same spot.
No. When I first came to America, I used to live in the building. But then my dad saved up a lot of money, and together with his cousin, they were able to put a down payment for a house. A few years later, how
yeah.
the housing market crashed and all that stuff. So we had to let it go. And my parents divorced. So
I had both parents.
barely, I don't even speak to my dad. Like, I haven't spoken to him in like weeks. I don't even know what's going on in his life. And so yeah, then I just with my mom and my sister, and then finally my grandparents came from DR. So and then so my mom brought my grandparents. So my grandparents brought my aunt. So now everybody here, they keep bringing everybody.
You're like, we all in here, yeah. But how was that adjusting to America?
I was young, so obviously it was a lot easier because I was so young. You adapt and you learn things fairly easy when you're young. It was strange because I was from a small town where everybody knew each other, and then I came here. I moved to a building. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Like I was used to being outside in the open air, climbing trees, seeing horses. Like it was just a completely different environment. And then when I came to America like towards the end of the fall. So I'm like, why is it cold? Like now I gotta be indoors all the time. Like, it was so confusing. Like nobody's speaking Spanish, everybody's speaking in English. Like this was too much. And like my parents always make fun of me because like one of the first words that I learned how to say was "you're welcome," but I would say "you're wrong." So like because we lived in a building, like you would hold the door for people, and they would be like, "Thank you." So I would say "you're welcome," but I would say "you welcome" because I couldn't get it together. So I would hold the door for people, and they'll tell me "thank you," and I'll be like, "you're welcome." So then when I was like 4 years old, so that's how I was. I mean, in general, and my mom always does say that like it did seem like I was really depressed because I was so used to like the different lifestyle. When I was in DR, I had a lot of family, being around a lot of people, talking to a lot of people. Then I came here, stuck in a building, not knowing how to speak the language. I didn't have friends until school was gonna start the following year. Didn't have friends. I just had my mom and my dad. My dad was always at work, and my mom was home, so it was just me and my mom. And I used to get in trouble all the time for like coloring on the walls and stuff like that because I didn't know what to do with myself. Like all the things I would do, I didn't know.
Yeah. I was here, so.
Yeah, I have to adjust, so it was fine.
Like, the media told me how to act, and people told me how to act.
It's weird. I think it's weird. And then even now, because I've been in America for so long, when I do go to the R, I'm very Americanized. So it's very apparent for the people when I go to the DR that I am from America. Now when I go over there, they're like, "oh, she's American," which becomes really bizarre because they're like, "oh no, she's American. Do you see her?" Yeah, you can tell by like the way she dressed and her certain actions that she takes that she's not from here. And it's weird because I'm like, bro, I am from here. Like I was born here. Like I just left and I'm back now. Like it's so weird. But I still love DR. I still love the neighborhood that I'm from, even though it's like a really small dirt and rock path. Electricity is not a constant. The electricity comes in and out like every 3-4 hours. If you want to wash clothes, it's almost impossible. You have to let the clothes air dry. Like you can't even buy ice cream because if you put it in the freezer, it's not gonna freeze because electricity is so weak that like everything gets messed up. Like if you're gonna buy something, you're gonna buy it. And that means you're gonna eat it either today or tomorrow because it can't be in the fridge for more than 3 or 4 days. So it's gonna get ruined. But it's fine. I like it there. I like it there. For the record, though, not all of the yards like there's just the piece where I'm from, like because it's like more poor area.
Brooklyn, all day, every day, to different projects.
I don't know. I spent the first 2 years in Brooklyn, and then I've been in Queens ever since. So I used to live by Crescent, so it was borderline Queens anyways already. So it didn't matter.
So yeah, so America, when we first seen snow, it was like, what is this?
I actually liked it. I would like just throw myself on the floor doing exchanges. I was like, this is interesting and fun.
Yeah, I had asthma. I have asthma and allergies, so I couldn't go outside and throw myself.
Oh, never mind. That's not fun.
Or the sun. Yeah, the sun was. Yeah, my childhood was sickly.
Yeah, I don't even know what to tell you right now because that's not fun.
Yeah, I used to miss a lot of days of school because of sick. But now I'm better.
That's miserable. Being sick. Oh my gosh. That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I only get sick over if I push myself too hard. So my body was like, shut down, reboot.
I just fall asleep if I work too hard. I get sick, I just fall asleep. But yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't talked to somebody and like I haven't talked like I've just been talking to the same like 4 or 5 people. So
I have 2 people here and I only talk to one, and that's my mother. Yeah. What is it? We can talk for like 2 hours.
Yep. I don't know what you can do. You have to cut it. You have to cut it.
And I talk to my friend, 2-hour episode. I'd be like, I am not cutting it. It's lazy. I'm working on this website right now. It's almost finished.
That's weird.
Oh, let me show you. Share. And it has all the buttons. Yay. No. Yay. I'm doing transcripts. Can you see? Yeah, I hope like that.
That was nice.
So yeah, this episode's gonna be a double because it's 2 hours.
That is a lot of work. I'm telling you, you need to cut this one. You need to cut this one. You gotta pick a piece. Whether you want to focus on talking about quarantine life or colorism. So pick the topic that you want and stay with those like 40 minutes instead of doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because just doing the transcript itself is a lot of work.
That's been the devil. I'm trying to finish it this week and I can just pull it out next week.
You got this. You got time.
I have another episode tomorrow, then I might have another episode Friday to record, so you know.
Busy.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this out. I'm trying to get these episodes recorded early so I can just edit them and then be done and take a break for 2 months.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
You got this. I don't even think you need love because you does this.
Season 3, I'll be like, yeah, a whole year of podcasting done. In the bag.
Yes, I'm probably being loud. But yeah, this was fun. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So the last question is, what would you name your origin story?
I'm not creative. We're gonna just go with my name. Like just Wandaly.
Yes.
Okay. Or like the Wandaly or something. Take my name and go with that. Because I'm not creative like that.
Cool. Well, thanks for being the podcast.
Thank you.
Hope to see you guys in person. Hope to see you in person soon. If you wanna.
COVID sucks. Bye.
See ya.
That brings another episode of the Let's Get Podcast to a close. I'd like to thank Wandaly for being a guest on the podcast. For next week, and my friend Joe coming on the podcast. Hope we continue the next day and hope to see you there.